All right, so after GDevCon over in Europe, I gave a presentation there on approval testing, and we did a workshop, and I realized that I needed a little bit more information on how to set all this up and getting started type video, so I decided to do this video for Steve and Nancy and I's TMiLV over this month in LabVIEW, or Too Much Information LabVIEW, whatever it is. So, first of all, the first thing to do is to go to VI Package Manager, and we want to install approval tests, and then whatever unit testing framework you want to use. So out of the box, it supports VI Tester, Karaya, and LUnit. I'm going to use LUnit for this. So the first thing you would do is go here and type in approvals and make sure it's installed. I already have it installed. Oh, I just released a new version, so I will update. Cool. Make sure I have the latest version. All right, so while that's going in the background, the first step is go install that. The next step that you want to go do is make sure that you have an appropriate difftools set up. So if you happen to have Beyond Compare, that is the best diff tool to use. So if you go to Beyond Compare, it's made by Scooter Software. If you search for it, it should come up, Scooter Software. Buy yourself a copy. It's really great. You do need the paid copy. So there's a free trial and there's a free tool. I think the free trial works, but the free tool does not work. It will not. It launches it via the command line, via system exec, and if you don't have the thing licensed correctly, that doesn't work. That's one of the things that you pay for. So go install this. If you want to pay for something, I highly recommend it. It's a really good tool. Or the other tool that is free, that's not quite as nice, that works, is also WinMerge. And there is a way to set this up to use whatever you want. It's an environment variable. There will be another video that'll be posted somewhere. I think it's somewhere on the GitHub. You can find that information. Okay, so download and install those two, and then you need to test to make sure that they work. So the way to test to make sure that they work is to open a terminal. It can be git bash, it could be command, any of them. And for Beyond Compare, you need to type in bcomp, and if you hit enter, it should pop up and open. If it does not open Beyond Compare, then you need to double check some stuff. And WinMerge is WinMerge U, and do this and it should open WinMerge. So you only really need one of those, but you need one of those things. Now, if you have issues for Beyond Compare, first you need to make sure that you have the registration key. The other thing to do is to check your environment variables. So edit the system environment variables, go to environment variables. Here, let me close that in the background. And if you go to path, edit, and make sure that it has points to wherever the heck you installed those. I don't actually see it pointing there, but it all works. So, but you can just add a new browse, point to the wherever you install Beyond Compare and WinMerge, and then try again. And another note, when you go to try again, after you've changed any environment variables, including the path, you have to close Windows, or sorry, close Windows now. Close the terminal window and close LabVIEW, because they both load the environment variables when they start. So if it doesn't work, you have to go change the path. When you're testing it, make sure you restart the terminal window. Anyway, so those two things should work, and then there's one other thing to do, and this works best in git bash, but you go to blog.sasworkshops.com and search for absolute, and what we want is the absolute easiest way to set up LV compare and merge. Scroll down, highlight this, paste it into git bash and hit enter and run, and it will copy some stuff over and set up things to use LV compare. That sets up LV compare to work with Git and whatever other tools you have, but it also sets it up to be used with approval testing. All right, now let's hold on, I got to do this quick. I think this is running in the background. In LabVIEW, let's open a new project. I think I can do this while this is running. New empty project. Don't add. Okay, so I've got a new empty project. I'm going to save as on my app desktop demo.lv project. Cool. Let's let this thing finish first. When we edit this, we can skip through this if you want. You should watch my presentation that I gave at GDevCon in Europe. And you should also watch my presentation that I gave at the GLA Summit on refactoring. And that also uses approval tests, so that will give you a good idea of what we're doing. But okay, we've got this working. I have everything installed. To test that everything works, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to create a new LUnit test case. So I'm going to use LUnit in this demo because it's what I like. I'm just going to do Control-Shift-N and create a new test folder. And I'm going to call this my test case. I'm just going to click Save. And if I go here, it should have put it in the right place. Yeah, my test case, cool. So now what I'm going to do is just a new blank VI. So I'm going to create a blank VI because Approvals is going to let me do a lot of stuff. It's going to do a lot of stuff for me. So if I go here, I go do approval tests. I'm using LUnit. If you're using VI test, you can go here, or you can use the Karaya one. These are all the different types of verifications. I'm just going to do a new plain old verify. And I'm going to type in hello world here. And the other thing I have to do is just go here and wire this up on the connector pane. That's why I created a new VI, because the new verify drops all the stuff that I need. And for now, when you save this, you have to save it with start with test. So I just test verify hello world. I'm going to try to work with Anton so we can get rid of the test at the beginning, so you can just start a test with either test or verify, but we haven't figured that out yet. So test verify hello world. Okay, cool. Save. Now let's run. Let's save all this project and let's make sure we save our test case. LUnit has this thing where if you don't save the test case, not that. I want to save all this test case. Save all this class. There we go. Cool. Now this will run all LUnit tests in the project. Boom. It pops up. The test failed. All right. So what's going on with this unit test and why did it fail? Failed because I haven't approved anything yet. But basically what's going on is every time I run this test, it's looking at what this string input is. In this case, it's a constant, so it should never change. But assume that's the output of whatever function you want to test. The very first time you run it, you haven't approved anything, so you have this here, right? This is the approved file, and this is the received file, and you'll see that they end up on disk. They have the same name as the test VI, test verify hello world, and one's .approved, one's .received. So received is what the code produced, approved is what you've approved. In this case, I haven't approved anything. The easy way to do this is to highlight all this, click here, and then click Save and Close. And that approves it. I'm going to show, this is beyond compare. I'm going to show you what that looks like in WinMerge. So no, I'm not going to save those changes because I want to show you what it looks like in WinMerge. So if I highlight these two and I go to WinMerge, it looks like this. And again, one of these buttons, I think it's this one, copy to write in advance, copy all. So this copies that change. If there's multiple changes, copies in advance. This just says copy all the left to the right. So we're going to copy all over there. Sure you want to copy all differences? Yes. And when I exit this, it'll ask me if I want to save. If I click yes. So whichever one of those two you use, that's how you do the approved part. And also beyond compare, I didn't really show it, but if you have multiple things, there's multiple arrows there, and you can just move some of the changes over and not all of them. Anyway, now if I run my test again, everything passes and it's happy. If I get excited and I change this and add an exclamation mark, right now when I run that one test again, it fails, and you can see I added the exclamation mark. Beyond compare really points out like what character changed. That is the basics of approval testing. Now this verifies a Vim. You can pass in anything. It attempts to flatten it intelligently. If it can't do that, it just flattens it to JSON. So that's that verify function. There's some other verify functions here. Let me see. So Code the LE unit. This verifies JSON, just forces it to code to JSON all the time. Which, if you wire a large object or something into the regular verify, it's going to end up as JSON anyway. Parameterizing combinations is a way to run a particular VI multiple times. If you want to see that, look at my demo from the GLA Summit or from GDevCon. I talk about how to do that. Let me save that. So those are some interesting things. Let me see what else there is to it. Approvals. Oops. There's also this verify CLI output. So let's just run one of those once just to see. I think you could probably do something like, let me see. If I go here and type in cmd get -- version, what does that spit out? Okay, cool. So it spits that out. So I can run an approval test on that. That's really easy. VI. So I could do approval test, verify CLI output. Sys command on Windows. I don't think I need the /c. I think I can just type in get -- version. And I need to wire this up. So this could be useful if you're writing some GCLI commands or you want to test something that you built that you want to pass it some command and see what it comes back. Test get version. You could also, like this, use it to like capture information about the versions of things that are running on your computer. So that's also a possibility. But if I run this, hey, look, it grabs the standard output, get version 2.45.2.windows.1, grabs standard error, and grabs the return code. Super simple, super easy. The interesting one is the verify VI or verify file, which you can use to test scripting code, which is really awesome. And you can use it also to test like UI stuff that like manipulates UI things. And why is that not part of that class? That should be part of that class. Okay. Where did I save that? Good, I saved it in the right place. Okay. Let's create a new VI. And we're going to right click here and we're going to go to approval tests, LUnit, verify file. Verify file is pretty interesting. So now we're going to create a file to verify. So just a new VI. Alright, so this is file to verify. And let's just drop a for loop on here. We don't need anything super exciting. So this file to verify could be the output of some scripting code or something. And what I'm going to do is drop a... the recording thing's getting in the way. Hold on, let me move that. Go here, drop a static VI reference. VI I want to verify. Select property all the way down at the bottom. VI path is what I want. Cool. And let me change that to name just so it looks a little better. Okay, cool. So let's save all this. This is going to be test verify VI. Alright, and we'll just run this one thing. We should probably wire these up. Might be worth making a little quick drop shortcut or something to do that. Haven't got around to that yet. Okay, so here's the VI that we're going to verify. Now, this might be the output of some scripting code. Right? And so we run our scripting code on this VI, and then we verify the path of the VI. So the first time we run it, we haven't approved anything yet. And what's going to happen is it's going to pop up VI compare. And everything's going to show up as changed because we're comparing it to a blank VI. Cool. Now this, I haven't figured out a great way to update things in here to approve changes. What I've come up with is, if if you like all the changes, you just exit out of here. And what you do is you go and find it on disk. So let's see, Control Shift E to find it in the project. Right click, explore. If I explore, I find it. So here's that .approved.vi and .received.vi. I just delete the .approved, rename this, the received one, as .approved, and all is good. And now I can rerun this and it should pass. So if I test this verify VI, it should pass. Cool. And then if at some point I change this VI that I'm verifying and I add, I don't know, an event structure in here. And imagine again that this is not just a random VI, it's the output of my scripting code. So my scripting code did something different. The output looks different. And now I run the test again. And now it fails and it should pop up again and tell me what changed. It says, hey, you added this here. So that's really useful. It's useful for scripting code. It's useful for images. You can do stuff that creates images and you can diff the two images and it'll show it in Beyond Compare. It also works if you have code that like updates UI stuff. So after I gave a presentation at GDevCon, somebody came up with a multi-column list box and they're doing some formatting on it, and they were able to grab a picture of the multi-column list box and save it and do diffs that way. You could have a blank VI with the multi-column list box, blank multi-column list box, run it through your formatter that formats it, look at the results, save the results as a VI, and do that type of diff. So there's all kinds of options and possibilities here. And I didn't even touch the combinations thing. That's really, really powerful. But that's something for another day or another lesson. If you, like I said, if you want that, go look at my GDevCon presentation or GLA Summit presentation, and that has that. So that's enough to get started. One thing I will say that you want to do is you want to go into getting ignore file, and you want to add a thing to ignore the receive files because you don't need those. So if you just go here and edit a get ignore file, you want to add a line that says star.received .star, because sometimes they'll have text or VI or JSON at the end. But if you do that, make sure you spell received correctly. That should cause it to ignore all the received files because there's no need to store those in Git, and all the approved files will automatically get added. And actually, there is a thing that if you have the project open when you run it, it gets added here. You can see these showed up here, and what I do is I just take these and put them right next to the test. It doesn't do it for .vi files because that just gets weird and then it becomes a problem. So just the text files that show up here. So now I've got it side by side here. If I want to see what my test Git version is supposed to produce, I didn't approve anything there yet. Here I approved hello world, so that's what my hello world is supposed to output. You can see it should fail because I have the exclamation mark. Anyway, there you go. That's how you set up the diff tools. That's how the thing works. Oh, actually, I should add, there's one other thing I wanted to add, and that is scrubbers. So if I have let's just show you how that works real quick. So new VI. Test scrubbers. These are really important. So sometimes you don't care about certain pieces of data. Sometimes you have things like dates that change, etc. So the way to deal with that, so let's just create a new approval test, LUnit. Let's just do a regular verify. Okay, so we got regular verify. Put a for loop here. We'll generate some timestamps. We'll wait 1 second between each. We don't need many. We'll wait 1 second. We'll do 3 of them. That way this will run fast and we'll get the idea. And then we'll do timing, date, time in seconds. Right, and we'll verify an array of timestamps. Oh, oops. That's what we wanted. Oops, actually I don't want that one. Hold on. timing palette, date, time, and seconds. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got an array of date timestamps, test scrubbers. Okay, cool. So if I run this without any scrubbers involved, it takes 3 seconds, but I get these timestamps. Okay, and you can see it kind of formatted them in a row, right? It tries to be intelligent about how it formats them. That's cool. There's a problem though, in that if I approve these, okay, I'm going to approve these. Oops. Click the wrong thing. Approve these. Okay, I approve these. Great. I approve these. Oops, did I run it again? I'm just going to approve these. Okay, so that's what I want to approve. Great. But now when I run this, I'm going to run into problems because the timestamps will be different, obviously. Right? Now, this is kind of a dumb example, but imagine those timestamps are mixed in with a bunch of actual data that I actually care about. How do I get rid of these timestamps? It's actually very easy. So what I'm going to do is go highlight one of these. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to approval tests, options, add date scrubber. I'm going to wire this up to the options. And I'm going to go in here real quick and just make sure that it recognizes it. So this is the date format. I'm going to run it through here just to make sure that it says found. Hey, found. Okay, so what this means is that the regex to find that particular date already exists. It's fine. What this is going to do is go through and replace all the dates that match a regex for that particular date format. And it's going to replace them with date 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And if a date repeats, then the number repeats. So this is still open. Let me just close all these just to make sure. Cool. So if I do this, I can now run this. It'll take 3 seconds. But when it pops up, you can see now on the left, date 1, date 2, date 3. And if I approve this, every time I run it, I'm going to get a pass now because it's going to be 3 dates. And there will be date 0, 1, 2, 3. If I run this again, it should pass. Cool. So that's good. You can also do things like, for example, there's also a regex scrubber. So if I just disconnect this options thing and add a different one, you can just do a regex scrubber. So if I go to approvals, options, add regex scrubber, the unique one. So there's a non-unique one and a unique one. The non-unique one just says anything that matches this, replace it with X. This says anything that matches this, replace it with a number with an incrementing suffix for each unique, right? So this is the prefix. So find regex-d. So let's just say find 2024 and I want to replace it with year, right? That's it. I'm going to find 2024 and replace it with year. I was going to get a little fancier, but you can do a regex there too. Oops. So now I've got this options thing wired in instead of the other one. And now when I run this on the receipts side, you'll see that it replaced the 2024 with the year. Year 001/09/17 year 01. So you may, it'll find whatever you want. It works for GWIDs or things like that change or things that you don't care. So you could take something and use the regular regex scrubber and say, if this thing appears in the output, just replace it with an empty string, and it just kind of deletes it and ignores it. There's all kinds of different options that you can do with the scrubbers, and you can kind of create your own as well. It's extensible. So anyway, that's approval testing using LUnit. If you use Karaya or VI Tester, it's very similar. There's built-in support for that. So again, go to approval tests, VI Tester, Karaya. If you use a different unit test framework, these are the bare methods. You can figure out how to wire those in. You can look at what I did for the LUnit and Karaya and VI Tester ones. It's all open source. You can look at it. If you find issues or something, put them on the GitHub page, and I will get around to fixing them as soon as I can. So anyway, yeah, check out my presentations for more information, but between the presentations and this should be enough to get you started. Thanks.